I think Coolsville sucks.
What you call an icon living? Try to make a little mistress, just did it. 9 long over 5 minutes. Whoa, we up too hot in the place.
Hey guys, it's Mayana, and today I'm going to be doing my March TBR. So if you watch my channel for a while, you've probably noticed that I never do TBR videos because I absolutely suck at TBRs, and every time I do a TBR, I literally read everything except the books on my TBR. But I learned how to trick my brain. So basically, I love lists. Like, lists help my life. So I figure if I do a list of my TBR, then that would help me a lot. So we're just going to start with the book that I'm actually currently reading. And if you watch my weekly reading vlog, you would know that I have been reading A Game of Thrones. And I'm actually really liking this book. I watched there's no movie. I watched like half of the show first and I really liked it, but I just ended up never finishing it. So I decided to just jump into the book, and I think that that helps a lot because now I can like picture some things that like happened and stuff. And though I didn't get that far, like I can still picture like the characters and like what the world looks like, which really helps. Okay, and then the next book I have is the book that I chose for my Lonely Hearts book club, which is a book club for, essentially it's for people who are lonely and don't have like significant others, like a boyfriend or a girlfriend. But also, I accept people who do have like a boyfriend or a girlfriend or don't have friends, because I can relate to both. But like, I remember when I did have a boyfriend, I would still feel lonely because I didn't have like friends to hang out with. So having a boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't exclude you from being lonely. So I'll link that book club down below if you want to join. And the book that we chose for this month is Enchante, which one, Jake should be proud of me for one, pronouncing the name right, and two, for actually reading it, because Jake really liked this book. I'm linking his channel down below. He really liked this book, and the hardcover edition of this book is so beautiful. Like, the paperback is meh, but like the hardback edition is so beautiful. I need it in my life, okay? I need it, and it's a new release. I just have the art just because I just have the arc, I don't know. It's my very first like arc that was sent to me, because Enchante was sent to me from Melanie from Mail to the Annie. So the next book that I have is Wicked Saints, and this book was sent to me by Wednesday Books, and I'm so happy because one, I received like my first like physical arc from a company, and it just makes me so happy, and two, because this book just sounds right up my alley. Before, I didn't know what it's about, but Mel from Mail to the Annie just like did a March TBR, and she's also reading this, but she's doing like, we're not reading this together because she's doing like her own buddy read. But basically she was saying how in this book there are certain people who are allowed to talk to the gods, but they're only allowed to talk to like maybe one god, but the main character in this book can talk to all of them. And she said it has to deal with blood magic, and that the antagonist in this book reminds her of the Darkling from Shadow and Bone. And though I haven't read Shadow and Bone yet, I know that I'm gonna love the Darkling. So that just makes me so excited to read this book. And if me giving the description of that book sounds like, oh, this sounds boring, just like be on the lookout for it anyways, because I am terrible at like descriptions. The next book that I have on my TBR is A Court of Mist and Fury, and this is the second book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. So I'm not going to talk about what this book is about, one, because I don't know, and two, because it will be spoilers for the first book. So I really want to read this because all of my friends, everyone and their mama says that this book is the best book out of the whole series, and that I am gonna love Reese. And like, spoiler alert, I already love Reese, and I've been thinking of doing like a video diary vlog type of thing. So when I read this, because it's so beloved. So yeah, I actually can't wait to get to this because I just want to be a Reese stan, like 100%. The next book I have is Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. This book is like raved about. The third and final book comes out in in September. And I have a lot of Jay Kristoff books, but I haven't like had the chance to read them yet. And so I really want to read Nevernight because I love this cover. I bought the UK hardcover edition, and like it wouldn't make sense for me to like not read, like have both editions and not read this. So there's that. And this book just sounds right up my alley. I did have it on Audible, and I read like the first page, but I realized that it had smut in it. Not the first page. I read like a couple of pages of the first few the first chapter. And I realized it had smut in it. And if you watch my February wrap up, you know that I learned not to read books with smut in them. So I like gave the audiobook back, and that's how I got the second book in the Game of Thrones, because I just returned it. And yeah, so don't listen to smut is what I learned. So I'm not gonna listen to this on audiobook. I'm gonna read it. And I'm very excited because I feel like I'm gonna be so trash for this story. Like, everyone's trash for it, and like everyone says how great of a writing it is. And a lot of people, when they first read it, they didn't like the footnotes, but I don't mind the footnotes. So the next book I have is A Darker Shade of Magic, and me and Kevin from Storyglyph have been supposed to buddy read this book since December, and we've been trying to get a buddy reading almost for a year now. And like, we just, every time we try to, we just like, one of us gets like super busy, and like, it's just always hectic. And so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna read it, and then in the middle of it, I'm gonna tell him like, I'm reading this, and then that's how the buddy read is gonna work. Or I'm just gonna read it. Like, I'm sorry, I really need to read this book. I don't know, I'm kind of scared because I don't like, I don't hate it, but I don't really like City of Ghosts, and I didn't like Vicious as much as I did. Like, it wasn't bad. Like, I expected it to be a 5-star book, ended up being a 4-star book, so it's not bad, but I didn't like it as much as I thought I would. So I'm kind of scared to go into this one, but I just need to like rip the band-aid off. The next book I have is The Last Mamsara, and I want to read this book because it's about forbidden love and it's about dragons, and your girl loves both. So I need to hurry up and get on it because like, plus I love this cover. So the next book I have is Strange the Dreamer by Lani Taylor, and this is like the only author name I said in this whole video. But yeah, I've been meaning to get into Strange the Dreamer. I listened to the audiobook of the first couple of chapters, and actually, like, everyone said it was slow, but I didn't mind it at first. I guess I don't really mind slow books because the Game of Thrones is actually like pretty slow, but like, I don't love it, but like, I don't hate it. And my sister really liked this book, and my sister doesn't really read fantasy that much, so for my sister to like it, I feel like that means that it's like pretty good and like I'll like it. The thickest of them all, okay, is The Priory of the Orange Tree. And I'm so excited to get into this book. It has dragons, it has female reps, but yeah, it's an epic fantasy, and it's, I believe it's a standalone, which is why it's like so big, because this wasn't a standalone and it's this big. I am afraid to see what the next book will look like. This book literally takes up three book spaces on my shelf. I'm just very excited to get into this book. I am in this group chat on Voxer, which is hosted by Lauren from the Novel Lush, and it's just a bunch of people like reading The Priory of the Orange Tree. I haven't started yet. It's literally the 3rd of March, and I haven't finished the book yet, and I'm so sad because actually it's the 4th of March. It's the 4th of March, and I haven't finished the book yet, which makes me sad because it usually doesn't take me this long to finish a book. Like, I would have finished the book by now, like a book, but that's fine. That's okay. It's fine. It's cool. It's totally like, it's whatever. This book is so big, my hand is hurting from holding it up. Like, my arm is like literally tired. And the only reason why I haven't started this book yet is because it's so big. I don't know how to hold it. Like, I don't understand like how I'm supposed to hold this book. And also, like, I read the first page and I was just like, it's not hard to understand anything. It's actually, the first sentence is really cool, but it's so heavy. But yeah, these are the 9 books that I want to read for March. This is my high priority list, by the way. I have other books that I want to read, but I put them on low priority just because I'm reading a lot of like epic fantasies this month and a lot of like fantasies in general. So I just need to prioritize my TBR, and these are just like the books that like I'm just more so interested in. But yeah, that's it for this video. Be on the lookout for my March wrap up to see if I read any of these books, because I am a failure. And yeah. Bye.